Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham and I'm at the 2019 New World Metals Conference in Perth, and I am speaking with Adrian Griffin, who's Managing Director of Lithium Australia. Now Adrian, as always, there's been a bit of activity announcement-wise coming through from Lithium Australia. You never want to let people not know what's going on, but I won't get into what the announcement has actually been, but what they're sort of working towards. Now, Lithium Australia, you're working towards sustainability, basically.
That's exactly it, Wally.
So sustainability, and by doing that, you're looking at improving your the ore bodies that you have in the ground.
Well, improving the utilisation,
of, and also recycling of lithium batteries and all the components thereof.
Indeed.
Okay, so the announcements you've made recently, your uptake in interest in EnviroStream, which we'll talk
That's
about.
correct, yep.
And also moving into the energy storage sphere as well.
That's right. We've got an agreement with DLG, one of the larger battery producers in China. And what that ultimately does for us is delivers a product into Australia, which we're going to Australianise further down the track, I might add, but does deliver a product into Australia that we're currently marketing.
Yep. Okay, so when you say you're going to Australianise that further on, what does that mean?
Well, you're probably aware we've got a plant in Brisbane, a pilot plant that produces cathode powders. We're currently exporting those cathode powders to China. The cathode powders are going through the DLG plant and making commercial cells. And we're testing those alongside the cells that DLG make as a regular production item.
Okay.
We have an agreement with them that says if we can do both two things, one is produce to a quality spec that suits them and produce at the right cost, we'll become their preferred supplier of cathode powder for that particular type of battery. Now we've already reached the quality spec, we're working on the cost, and we're very close to achieving that. And then the Australianised part of this will be manufacturing those batteries in China, putting them in those battery packs and bringing them back to Australia. So they'll be coming back with Australian cathode powders.
Okay, all right, I'll get you now. So Lithium Australia, basically, look, I look at you guys and I think, okay, you're doing a lot of things differently than what a lot of other companies may be at these particular sorts of events. So you're a recycler, basically, whereas this is how I see it. Is that right? Am I right?
Yeah, I think you can look at it that way, and it starts at the primary supply side, where we have technology capable of processing contaminated spodumene concentrates and the fine material that people don't recover. So we can process those. We can produce a lithium chemical out of that. We can take that right through to lithium batteries, and may I say that we can do that without producing lithium hydroxide and lithium carbonate, which is one of the big challenges for the industry. So we can do that, and we've shown that we can do that by generating batteries from waste material. So yes, to an extent that's recycling. We would like to see that primary extraction technology adopted by more of the spodumene producers or chemical producers that use spodumene, because it adds enormously to the sustainability of those sorts of projects. On the other side, of course, there is the battery recycling, and there's no denying that that's recycling, where we collect those batteries, we sort them, we shred them, and then separate the materials within those batteries. The materials that we get out of those, there's the usual waste recycling materials. There's copper foil, aluminium foil, a bit of steel that comes out of the packaging, plastic, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All of those commodities go back into the Australian recycling business, and then what you're left with is a black powder that we refer to as mixed metal dust. That contains all the active components of the battery, the nickel, the cobalt, the manganese, the lithium, of course, a few other bits and pieces. At the moment, we have an offtake agreement with Sungil High Tech out of South Korea. They're taking that material and refining that into new battery products, so they go back into the battery industry. but our long-term goal is to do that in Australia.
Yeah. Okay. It's just that that's when I sort of read a lot of your stuff and see what you're doing. I do sort of see you placed in quite a unique place as far as Australian companies go. You really have worked at a niche in the market.
Oh, well, yeah, to a large extent we don't have any peers. There's no one that's gone for the full vertical integration, but we've done a bit more than go for the full vertical integration in that the technologies that we've developed take a number of the processing steps out of the production chain. So we can go from these waste materials through to cathode powders a little more economically than many other companies, because we leave out the production step of producing lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide. So we can go straight through from a recovered lithium product from those batteries back into cathode powder.
Okay, and part of this whole thing has been a continued raising of your interest in EnviroStream. You're currently up to 90% ownership of that?
90%, yeah.
And you sit on the board now?
I do, yeah.
And so EnviroStream, can you just give us a bit of an update of what they are, what they do?
Yeah, well, EnviroStream's the only mixed battery recycler in Australia. And in fact, there are a number of people that claim they're recycling, but what they're doing is collecting and redistributing waste. Maybe that's recycling, I don't know. But,
I know, it has a nice little ring to it. That does,
it does.
A more sophisticated way of saying it. Yeah.
Indeed. So we do the whole kit and caboodle. We collect those batteries, sort the batteries, shred them, separate the products, and as I've mentioned, shove some of that back into the recycling industry here in Australia. And longer term, we'll do the downstream refining of the battery metals also in Australia.
Okay. All right. Well, so coming into next year, into 2020, there seems to be quite a lot happening for Lithium Australia. What do we expect to hear?
Oh, well, let's handle the recycling first. We have, of course, expanded the EnviroStream plant. We're currently recommissioning that. That's going well. We've produced first saleable product. The expanded capacity is about 6 times greater than it was previously. So we're planning on rolling out our collection beyond Victoria. At the moment, that's very Victorian-centric.
Is that right? So,
yeah, it is.
So the collection base is not Australia?
Well, it is to a small degree, but we want to hit the other states pretty hard and get as much of that material as we possibly can to fill the full capacity of that recycling plant. So that's what you'll see with respect to EnviroStream. We also intend to spin EnviroStream out, so it gives the public the opportunity to have a direct investment in the recycling. We'll control that company by keeping a large proportion of the equity within Lithium Australia. So if you want to invest broadly in the lithium industry or the battery industry, you can do so through Lithium Australia. And if you want to invest in the recycling side, you can pick up equity in EnviroStream at a later date once we've floated that. So that's the plan for EnviroStream. I guess the next big thing is VSPC, which is our cathode powder production. I've mentioned that we've met the quality control specs required by DLG, and we are working on the cost side of that equation. We're close to doing that. We are negotiating with companies in China to produce our cathode powder in China and run it straight into the DLG factory. So that you'll see a lot more of in the coming year as well.
All right. Well, and as I said before, we do get to. You don't leave people guessing on what's happening at Lithium Australia. We do get a stream of news through, so it's always an interesting read, and really look forward to seeing more of that next year. So have a good rest of the year. It's good to catch up with you again, and look forward to catching up next year.
Thanks very much, Wally.
Thanks, Adrian.